Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are back with a brand new Mattel Jurassic World figure to take a look at. This time we've got ourselves an RC dinosaur. We have the Roarin Frenzy T-Rex, and this one's pretty interesting. I am definitely excited to break this one out. It's another one of those kind of, childish looking, sort of exaggerated, but pretty cool looking sculpts. You can very clearly see that there with the T-Rex head kind of poking out. But it looks like it's going to be pretty cool from the images and stuff that I had seen of it. The box art looks nice pretty much as well. You can see a nice image of the dinosaur kind of like walking or running along and clearly letting out some sort of vocalization. And then, of course, the figure itself, you can see kind of breaking out of the packaging over here on the side. And then if you turn it around and take a look at the back, you can now see the image of the figure, the remote control, and some information over here to the right showing off some of the stuff this dinosaur can do. So let's go ahead and pop this open and check it out. So there is our T-Rex now out of the packaging and standing here before us. It does come unassembled. Basically only the legs are taken off of it and you just have to pop them in, almost like you do with like super colossals and stuff like that, or like the tail on many Mattel figures. You just pop that in and you're good to go. And the figure does look actually pretty darn cool. It looks a lot cooler here in person than I thought it was going to look. Like, Mattel did a good job of giving this, honestly, like a pretty nice baby T-Rex sort of appearance. So straight away, I'm pretty impressed with it. And the paintwork isn't half bad, even though, of course, we don't have paintwork out onto the tail. But we do have at least painted toenails and, again, a little variation of color through the course of the body. So, as always, let's go ahead and jump to a closer look, and we'll check it out from there. So, starting up here at the head sculpt of our T-Rex, you can see it looks pretty adorable. Definitely looks like a baby Rex, and actually kind of, in a little bit of a strange sort of a way, does have a likeness to Rexy, I think, or in general like a JP Rex. I think Mattel did a good job of giving this the very exaggerated look while still kind of keeping elements of a Jurassic Park T-Rex within the figure, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this, in fact, were what Rexy would have looked like as a baby. So I think they did a pretty good job as far as that goes. Like, it looks exaggerated and kind of goofy, but at the same time, almost kind of realistic. The fine detail on the face looks pretty decent. You can see the nostrils right there. Some areas are definitely a little washed out when it comes to the detail, like around the eye area. That you can see there's not really much in the way of skin texture, which is actually kind of surprising because Mattel normally gives us super highly detailed figures no matter what. And although this does sport some decent detail, there's definitely a washed out look to some areas, a very muted look to some areas. And you can kind of see that on the lower jaw as well as you move along. The detail definitely isn't as vibrant as it normally is. It doesn't pop like it normally does. And I'm not really too sure why, but it unfortunately does not. But you can see we've got a nice brownish tone for the face of the T-Rex. You've got a darker brown that circles around the eye and leads up here into the palate. And then you've got a lighter tone for the lower jaw. The figure does have an articulated jaw. And because it's an RC, you can actually open it and it'll stay open. Inside the mouth, you can see we've got a pinkish tone in there. You can see the tongue sculpted out, but not much, again, in the way of texturing. Very kind of muted detail in that area as well. It does have a little bit of a shine to it, though. And the teeth are painted with like a light yellowish tone as well. Again, the teeth don't really look that great. Not nearly as nice as a lot of newer Mattel figures normally do, but in this instance, again, they were definitely, aiming this toward children, so I can understand why it wouldn't have like super really nice highly detailed teeth. If you look up here on the top of the head, you can see again some okay looking skin texture. You can see this darker tone, this dark brown pick up here basically in like the center of the head and move down along the course of the neck. Again, as you move down the neck, you can see the detail is yet again quite muted through most of the figure, which, like I said, is really quite shocking, honestly. You've got a few skin wrinkles and stuff as you move down. The dark brown does smoothly transition to the brown right here, and then again smoothly transitions to a light tone for the underside of the neck and throat, sort of smoothly. Like, that's a little questionable right there, but for the most part, the transition's not half bad. It gets better as you move down here into the body. And again, you can see a bit of a muted look to the body here when it comes to the scale detail and stuff, but you can see it's definitely there. I think the original figure, or I'm sorry, the original sculpt of this figure probably did look really, really good when it comes to the fine detail, but for some reason transferring from the original sculpt to the actual figure, it's definitely very muted. As you move down, you can see the arms look okay. You've got like some scoots moving down the fingers right there. The nails do have a little bit of a satin shine, but unfortunately no actual nail paint, and the arms do articulate, which you can see forward and back right there, which is nice. Both arms do. I don't think that's part of any action features, but who really knows, I guess, until we get to that point. We, of course, also have a joint there in the neck, but again, I don't really know exactly what all is included with the action features, so I guess we'll wait until we get to that point. But as you move along, you can see that darker tone follows along the back, but it starts to disappear as we lead out into the tail. And then once you actually get to the jointed area of the tail, it's gone completely. But as you move down, you can see the muscle definition here in the thigh, muscle definition in the calf, some scoots running down the toes. Again, very, very muted detail the entire way through, but you can also see the nails are sculpted and painted here with a dark grayish tone. And then there's this little area underneath, which is actually very similar to the way that, if you've ever been to the Walking with Dinosaurs live show, and the way that those dinosaurs, like the big animatronic dinosaurs, work, they have this sort of thing going on underneath where it just kind of runs underneath them so that you can see the dinosaur move, which is very reminiscent to what we have going on here. You can see a wheel and stuff that's going to help our T-Rex walk. And you can see this is actually just basically sculpted out to look like vegetation and stuff down underneath the Rex. And it also has a greenish tone, of course, to also simulate vegetation. And we've also got the Jurassic World logo right here in that area. You've got, like, I don't know what that is, like a peg or something. Maybe it's a button, I have no idea. But then as you move up, actually, I don't see dew claws on it, unfortunately. But as you move up, you can see, again, we've got the tail that articulates in two different spots, basically just side to side moving out. You've got kind of like almost like a scoot-like appearance moving along the side of the tail. No color variation out here into the tail, though. You can see the lighter tone of the underside disappears as you lead out, and then again, the darker tone also disappears, so it's just the primary brown color. And you're really not going to see anything different from one side to the other on this one as far as the sculpt or paint. Everything is definitely going to look the same, I would say, from both sides with this figure, but it does look pretty fun, and I'm definitely excited to find out how it works, so let's go ahead and get to that point. Also, as far as the remote control goes, you can see it's just a grayish tone with green buttons and the Jurassic logo right there. It's pretty fun, but nothing really super impressive. But as far as the figure goes, I have to make sure that it's turned on. So let's go ahead and check out our T-Rex. Wow, he's fast. Okay, apparently he's going to turn. Oh, let's turn him this way. So you can basically just spin him around. Oh, it got close to the edge. And then you can walk him forward. He's so fast for some reason. My goodness, I was not prepared for how quick he was going to move. Let's go ahead and see if we can get some noises from him. Okay, that is absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and do that again. See if we get a different noise or the same one. Got quite a few noises with this one. There's also a button here that has a lightning bolt on it. I'm not sure what that's going to do. Okay, I think I should not have done that. So a word of warning, do not press the lightning button if you're in a confined space, because I pushed it and the dinosaur just darted off with lightning speed, and you would think that would be obvious to me, but apparently I'm an idiot, and it flew off to the left side of the screen and took out so much stuff that I had over there. Luckily nothing is fragile over there, but it absolutely knocked stuff all over the place over on this side, which again I was not at all ready for. But again, you can move the dinosaur forward and back, and I'm trying to do it in a way where it's not super fast so we can see how smooth the leg movement is. But see, he just knocks everything over. I really should have found a better place to do this. I can't help but laugh because I'm so destructive with it. But again, you can see he does walk pretty nicely. He can also, again, spin pretty nicely. He's got a really nice little spin going on here, and he can go, of course, go both ways. He's got his roaring, and then, of course, forward and back, as well as that crazy lightning button, which I'm not so sure I want to try again at this point in time. But we're going to go ahead and take him outside now, and we'll see if maybe we can check him out and the way he moves a little bit better out there. I don't know if he's going to work on the road or not, but we'll see. So we are outside. I found a fairly flat area of the road. Let's go ahead and see how he does. Works pretty good, actually. He can definitely move pretty easily. Well, he got a little stuck there. For the most part, he works pretty nicely on the road, actually. His spins are pretty good. His forward and back motion, also pretty good. Let's go ahead and turn him, and we'll check out that lightning button. Whoa, he did like a wheelie there. He definitely took off really quickly. It's basically like you push that button and he gets a burst of energy. But he didn't go too far. He stopped pretty quickly, which is a plus for the figure. You don't have to go chasing him down or anything. And then, of course, we've got this. So you can make the dinosaur continue to roar. He actually works pretty nicely even out on the road. A few things to keep in mind about this. It does have a remote control, which obviously it has a remote control. It does not come with batteries. It does take AAA batteries, 2 AAA batteries, so you'll have to buy those before you can operate your dinosaur, unless you have some at home, of course. And the battery itself inside of the dinosaur is rechargeable, and it will require a full charge before you can operate it, or at least that's what the instructions told me. So, and of course that's what I did here before checking it out, but definitely some stuff to keep in mind as far as that goes. When it comes to a size on our T-Rex, let's go ahead and move it just a little bit closer, get the tail out here. For a length from the tail to the snout, about 15¼ inches, or around 38.5 centimeters, and then for a height to the top of the head, a hair under 10 inches, or around 25.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, Robert Muldoon, and the Collect A human being next to our T-Rex. And you can see it's pretty big, actually. Definitely sports a very nice, fairly impressive size. It's not quite as large as that, like, Ultimate Pyroraptor Mattel had released for Jurassic World Dominion, but still pretty nicely sized overall. It's also a good bit larger than, like, those other smaller figures like this little Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus, which you can very clearly see. Again, the T-Rex is quite a bit larger than either of these two figures here next to it. And then for one final comparison, again, I don't feel like we need too many for something like this. We have a Mattel Velociraptor and Dilophosaurus next to our baby T-Rex, just to give you one more idea of the size and the fact that it is pretty decently sized overall. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World RC Roarin Frenzy T-Rex is actually really fun. I think I'm going to have a blast with this figure, and once I'm done filming this review, I'm going to take it and go show it to my kids, because I think they'll probably have a good time playing with it and messing with it and everything. And again, the figure as a whole I think is really quite nice, and as I mentioned earlier, I think it replicates a baby T-Rex quite nicely as well. And what's cool about this is they actually gave it a little bit of tail length, obviously not a whole lot, but more than you normally get for these some more stylized sort of dinosaur toys that Mattel will release. A lot of the time when you get stuff like this, they're usually gypped majorly when it comes to tail length, whereas this one they gave a little extra tail length to, which I think is nice and helps the figure to, again, just look a little bit more so like an actual kind of more realistic baby T-Rex. Unfortunately, the actual fine detail of the figure is probably the most muted Mattel Jurassic World figure I've ever seen. Not saying it looks bad, because it still looks fairly decent for what it is, but it's just not quite as vibrant or as highly detailed as most normal Mattel figures usually are. But that said, it's just so much fun. The playability of the figure is definitely really nice. It moves super smoothly. It does move pretty quickly. Even moving outside on the road, again, really quite nicely. So if I had it on a nice flat surface or something, somewhere I could imagine, You know, if it was a little smoother than the road, this thing could go sailing. And it has a good bit of playability just with the features of it, like the forward and back, the way that it can kind of spin around in circles, the roaring aspect, as well as that lightning bolt that just sends it flying. Clearly, all the dinosaurs to the left of my review station found that out pretty quickly. And then, of course, the fact that you can make it roar is just so cool. Like, I love the fact that it does that. And, of course, the movement of the head perfectly gives it that roaring look. And, on top of that, there are numerous roars that go with it. So that's super cool. I'm also a really big fan of the coloration of the eyes. I think they did a very good job of painting out the eyes, and actually, you know, applying a little variation of color to the eyes was a really nice touch. So overall, this is definitely a very cool figure, and probably one of the coolest, you know, more stylized dinosaur toys like this that Mattel has released in quite some time. So if you are interested in picking one up for yourself, you can head to the link that I will include in the description, where I purchased this on Amazon.com. So make sure you go check that out, grab this if you want it, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.